I think people like you, innovators and people who are not afraid to really stand up and do the things that they want to do are so incredibly important for this industry.
When I started, I thought in order to be a professional, doing any kind of portraiture work that I needed to do lighting.
I think what I appreciate even more though is people being really true to what they love.
It took about a year off to kind of find myself. And then I thought, you know what, I'm just going to do what I want to do. And if people don't like it, then I guess I'll do something else.
You're about to learn what it takes to live free of fear, to finally feel confident in your work, and to step into your true authenticity as an artist. Get ready, because this is where we learn to stand out, to say yes to creating the work that we so deeply desire. Welcome. I'm Denise Birdsong, and I teach photographers and artists how to finally make their mark. I am so excited. This week we have with us one of my amazing students and phenomenal peers in the boudoir industry. I couldn't be any more excited that she's here with us. Today we have with us Alyanna Marr of the BouDIY group, as well as GlamMarr Studios. She's such a phenomenal artist. I'm so excited she's here with us. But before we go any further into this, I want to let you know you're going to want to stay through to the end of this episode because we have a surprise, a really exciting surprise for you guys, an opportunity for you at the end of this podcast. So stay tuned, and one of you's going to be really happy about this. Oh my goodness, Alyanna, welcome to the show. I am so happy to have you here. So happy to have you here. We've had so many private conversations about this, but I want to publicly declare it again. I admire you so incredibly much. I think you're a brilliant, brilliant artist. But I also really admire you as an educator. I have a lot of respect for what you do for our industry and our peers. And from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you for being such an incredible educator and putting out such good information and providing so many good resources for photographers within the industry. So I could probably go on all day long gushing about this. So I'll not do that right now. But I do want to introduce you to our audience, everyone. This is Miss Alyanna Marr, and she is the owner of GlamMarr Studios, and she is also an educator within the boudoir photography industry. She runs a group called BouDIY that is a fantastic group with wonderful resources and a lot of great people in there. It's a really great group to be in, and it's a Facebook group. But today we want to ask Alyanna some questions because we have her on the podcast, so we want to learn some things from her. So are you ready to get going, Miss Marr?
I am.
You are? Awesome. Okay, rad. So I think I want to start with asking you the age-old question. How did you actually get started in photography and boudoir photography, and also transition into being the amazing educator that you are?
Well, first off, thanks. And thank you so much for having me here. I'm honored. As you know, I've been fangirling over you for years. So, thank you.
My pleasure.
As far as how I got into boudoir, that's the only professional photography that I've done. I started in 2005, and it was because I was living up in Montana and I was feeling really bad about my body. And I was like, what if I could go someplace? And I got all like kind of dressed up, and then they took sexy pictures of me. Wouldn't that be neat? Well, in 2004-ish, that wasn't around.
Oh,
so yeah. I had, a background in photography just as a hobbyist. My dad was a photographer in the Air Force, and I kind of would steal his camera occasionally. So I just grabbed a bunch of friends and told them to take their clothes off. And the rest is really history. It kind of blew up from there, and I haven't looked back. And I've been, helping women to kind of see this other side of themselves.
I am so grateful that your dad had that camera and you got to steal it. That's awesome.
And it was filmed.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. I think a lot of us start in the industry. Like you said, I think that there are a lot of photographers listening to this podcast who are going to absolutely relate to your journey into boudoir photography. So you started that journey, and boy, you've really gone on quite the journey. I mean, I
Yeah.
have such a tremendous amount of respect for you. And I'm fangirling. We're just going to do it back and forth. I mean,
Feel.
and if we're making you all nauseous, too bad. We have a bunch of mutual respect and admiration for each other. But seriously, I have so much admiration for you and your work because you have such an incredibly clear voice and style to your work. And the fact that you started way back in 2005, I actually didn't know that part.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. You're really like innovator. You started a long time before a lot of people were in this genre. Um, so to have not been influenced by all of the trends that have come and gone. I'm kind of giving away my question here already, huh? To not have been influenced by all of the trends that like come and go and come and go and or maybe you were, I don't know. But you definitely have a very very unique style and unique voice, which I think is incredibly important. I'm constantly telling my students that it's really important to find their authentic voice and to not do as I do, but to learn from me, the information that I give them and then make it their own. Because I
Mhm.
feel like we all have our own artistic journeys. We can be inspired by and borrow things from here and there. That's fantastic. That's a great way to like evolve and grow and build your own style. So you do really have this amazing style. So I'm curious how it developed. Like how did the signature Alyanna Marr style develop?
Um, okay, this is like a loaded question. I
Good.
feel I did actually go through a lot of copying. I actually got my inspiration from like the old school pinup painters like Elvgren and Alvarado and just a couple of different people like that. So I really tried to emulate pinup when I started because there wasn't boudoir wasn't really a thing, or if it was a thing, it was kind of more of the cheesy 80s boudoir, which I actually love now. So, but I digress. So but as I created and did that, I would start putting my own spin on things, and then that's when I started having a lot of fun with it. Fast forward a couple years when boudoir did become back in style, then I felt like I was outside of the circle because everybody else's work looked one way and mine looked nothing like everybody else's. So I got on to forums and tried to emulate that kind of stuff. And I remember scrolling through Instagram one day, and this was years and years and years later. I remember scrolling through and I scrolled past one of my photos that was featured on another site, and I didn't even notice it was mine because I finally had nailed the aesthetic that everybody else was, doing. And I realized, wow, I really screwed up there. Now everything just blends in, and it was beautiful work, but it wasn't mine. So I just kind of tossed it out. I almost quit. I took about a year off to kind of find myself. And then I thought, you know what? I'm just going to do what I want to do. And if people don't like it, then I guess I'll do something else. And it turns out people do like it. So it's great.
I am so grateful that you had that revelation, and that you went through that journey. I think a lot of us have to go through that. I've experienced something very similar. I like a very particular style, aesthetic style, and over the last 5 to 7 years, the entire industry has shifted to a completely different style.
Yeah.
So my work is not always looking like everyone else's work. And for a while there, I had moments where I was like, oh my God, maybe I need to be a little bit darker. And maybe my edits need to be a little, maybe add a little muddiness to them or a little more shadow or whatever, so that I can look relevant. And every time I tried to do it, it was just like, this isn't me. It's just not. It didn't feel good. It didn't feel right.
Mhm.
And it's not that I don't like that aesthetic. I do. I do appreciate it. I think what I appreciate even more though is people being really true to what they love. And if that is pinup and you're inspired by pinup artists, then that's beautiful because you're owning it and it's something that you love doing. And nobody's doing anything 100% new, right? We're all inspired. We bring in inspiration from so many different places, whether it be photography or music videos or art books or old films for me, definitely. All of these kind of things really inspire us. And then we create our own unique voices. But you really have done a tremendous job creating your own unique voice. And I hope that the people who are listening today hear that and know that you can color outside of the lines. You don't have to look like everybody else. As a matter of fact, that can actually be detrimental to you. So you can like an aesthetic and style, but make it your own. Like you are capable of being a true, authentic artist like Alyanna, and you can actually make this art form your own. I think that you are such a phenomenal role model for that, Alyanna, and I thank you so much for being that and for doing that for the industry. I think people like you, innovators and people who are not afraid to really stand up and do the things that they want to do are so incredibly important for this industry, or we're going to end up looking like eventually it's all going to be, that 80s big hair, the poofy thing that you're
Yep.
liking again. But if we all look like that, that's a problem. Right? We can't all be exactly the same. Then it's not art.
Yep.
Um it's just creation. There's little birdie singing in your background and I love it. I keep hearing the birdie and it's awesome. Okay, so I have another question for you. I know I'm just rattling them off at you, but I'm curious and I want to know things, and I imagine that our listeners want to know this as well. I know in your work, every time I see one of your photos, when I look through your portfolio, it is so abundantly clear to me that you have an incredible love affair of painting with light.
Oh yeah.
Um, and as photographers, that's, we need to know and understand lighting. That's like one of the most fundamental things that we need to know and understand. You and I have had conversations about this. Um, Lighting and knowing and understanding how to coach and direct for emotion, these are things that are like non-negotiables, but you
Yep.
really have a beautiful love affair with lighting. So how did that happen? Because there are so many of us who are fearful of of lighting, anything that's not natural light or continuous light. We're like, we get really scared of it. So, and you're so brave, and you use it so beautifully, and it creates such, fantastic imagery. So tell me about this love affair that you've had with painting with light and being this, masterful artist with light.
Well, basically, what had happened was I didn't know that people took pictures um, without flash. Okay, because remember I told you I started during film, so you got outside with your film camera, and you used, the natural light, but it wasn't the same kind of portraiture work that you see nowadays. Or you went to a studio and it was blacked out and it was all flash. So when I started, I thought in order to be a professional, doing any kind of portraiture work, that I needed to do lighting. So I just kind of started teaching myself how to do it. And after a while, I was horrible with lighting. I tell everybody I was a great digital editor. In the beginning, I was really good with Photoshop and making things look like I did it right in camera. Um, Terrible. I mean, awful. And it clicked on me one day, like, hey, instead of me, fixing this in the, afterwards and taking hours, I wonder if I could do this, beforehand. And like I said, you got to remember, this was for before YouTube and anything else. So I actually taught myself all of that out of books.
Wow.
Well, real books, not digital ones. um, and from there it just became like a one light. And I think my first light was like a construction light from Home Depot, And then it just kind of morphed from there. And I really think once you understand the basics, like I kind of kicked myself in the ass, because if I had just had a mentor or something I could have watched and just got the basic understandings, I could have evolved so much quicker than I. So for me, it's all about the lighting. And like you said, emotion and lighting for me are hand in hand. You can't really have a great image that has amazing emotion, but the lighting doesn't match it, and vice versa. So I think our stuff together, that's where it's at.
Yeah. I think you said something really, really important there. If you would have had like the proper mentor to begin with, you would have been able to accelerate so much faster. And I think that the industry is so lucky to have you. You know, I hear all the time photographers talking about, and I want to be really clear about this, guys. I think that, you know, most educators have something good to offer, something to offer, or they wouldn't be educating. But I hear over and over, Elena, how, you know, this, you know, I'm a complete master of lighting and I'm going to teach you how to be a wizard at lighting and I'm the grand poobah of lighting. And like, I'm just like, don't care. Like, what I want to hear is this isn't difficult. I'm going to demystify this and I'm
Yep.
going to make this easy for you, which is exactly what you do. You're brilliant at that. So with that being said, I do think that you are that mentor that the industry really needs in terms of lighting, because it's not overcomplicating everything. It's teaching
Right.
the basics and building a foundation and then layering upon that. And so I think you're phenomenal. Um, for that purpose, for teaching in that way, and I think you're just the mentor we need at the very right time. I'm really excited about it. um
Yeah.
and so that's gonna lead me into my next thing. You have a course coming up that I'm really super excited about. I'm gonna be taking it, and it's a course on nudescapes. And so can you share with us a little bit about how this course is going to help boudoir photographers, or if you want to share any little tidbits about what's in it, any of that good stuff, that would be super awesome. I want to get people really excited about this course because I wholeheartedly endorse it and you as an educator and mentor. So the platform is yours, girl.
Well, thank
Get
you
them.
very much. Yeah, I'm super excited about Nudescapes myself. The biggest reason I'm excited about it is for the simple fact that it is really, it's like the super basicest of lighting. And when people see pictures, they assume it's this huge, complicated process to create like these beautiful artistic shots that they just don't even attempt it. So it's broken down in a way that makes it super easy, even if you have like the very basic understanding. So you'll be able to do these images within, like I said, about an hour. I think, yeah, definitely an hour. Imagine that. Imagine taking a course
Amazing.
in an hour and being able to take shots after that and get like shots that you didn't think were possible. Because that's what I do in that course. What's really cool about it, and one thing that I really like, is I'm doing these courses as a way to build. So Nudescapes to me is probably one of the most basic courses. So as people continue on throughout their, throughout their trainings in different areas, they can come back and harken back to these basic things that they've learned in this class, because I'm basically teaching rim lighting. And you and I both know that rim lighting is amazing in pictures if you use it right, but most people don't really understand how to use it or where to use it. And if you understand one aspect about lighting, and then you can just sit there and keep adding to it and adding to it. And I could probably do a 12 light setup and it would be no big deal to me, because once you understand one light setup, it's the same thing. You just multiply it across the board. So this is going to help to really showcase bodies. I think that's a kind of a big thing in our industry. I see a lot of kind of perfect bodies and really airbrushed bodies, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's a style. But I also want to bring back, quote unquote, real bodies. I want to see textures, and I want to see, different things on a body that maybe we don't see normally. And I really think that the biggest area for people on not just isn't just going to like increase skill for the photographer. What it's going to do is it's going to also increase their worth to their clients, because other people aren't doing this. That's one thing I really like about it. And it's another reason I chose that. Right now, it's kind of the over the top stuff that I love, but it doesn't stand out anymore. Everything's so over the top. Now we're scaling it back, and we're kicking it old school when we're doing just these really simple portraitures that are just, drop dead gorgeous. It's going to add variety to people's portfolios. People are way more likely to share those too, because they're usually anonymous shots, which is great for portfolio work. And the other biggest one is I am horrible at upselling artwork. And it's because I've been told no so many times, I don't even try half the time. And then I started doing things like Nudescapes, where it is an art piece. And I'll tell you what, those people will hang up an anonymous shot of their bodies in their house because they're not embarrassed by, they can be as sexy or not sexy as they want. So if they got kids, they can maybe pick a shot that's just like this beautiful, like clavicle here. If they're, more risque, they could do kind of like their booty or something. So I really think that there's a lot of things that they're going to get from this course. And it's not just understanding lighting and making that easy. It's also going to be helping them improve their skill as they go, and helping improve their sales, and also helping them to empower other people, because really that's what we want to do at the end of the day, right?
Absolutely. I am so excited about this course. I'm so excited about this course that not only am I taking it, I'm going to be one of your students now. You've been a student of mine, and now I'm going to be a student of yours. I've been able to see some of this on the back end, and it's pretty damn exciting. So I'm definitely taking the course. I'm super excited about it. Learning how to layer, starting with the basic and then learning how to layer upon it. Like, I look forward to you being a mentor to me in lighting for a long time to come. I'm really looking forward to that. But I've actually purchased an additional workshop course for one of our podcast listeners today, because I believe that much in you, and because I believe what you're teaching is that important. I don't think you can get a much bigger endorsement, because you know how I feel about the education industry. So I think that's saying quite a bit. So I have some notes that I'm actually going to read from, because I want to make sure that I get this correct. So I have purchased this course. I'm super excited, you guys. It's going to be amazing. And you'll be in class with me as well too, right? So we're going to give it away to one of our listeners today. In order to win, you need to leave a review on the podcast and DM me on Instagram with Works BouDIY, and that's BOUDIY. And then I need you to go to Alyanna's Facebook page and register for her event this Thursday, Thursday evening. And we're going to announce our winner after her event is finished. And so you're going to correct me if I get any of this wrong. Okay, Alyanna? So if you go to Facebook, you want to go and search for BouDIY, and that's BOUDIY. And you're going to want to request to be in that group. You need to be a photographer to be in that group. So
yes,
we're assuming that you're a photographer if you're listening to this and you're wanting to take this Nudescapes class. And then you're going to join the group, and then you go up. Is it in the events tab, Alyanna?
Yeah, it's under the events tab, and it's called Nudescape Soft Launch.
Okay. So you're going to want to go to the events tab and go to the Nudescape soft launch, and you are going to want to register for that event. You are going to want to attend that event and stay through the end of that event, because if you're not present when we announce your name, you won't be winning. So make sure that you stay through, and it's going to be awesome. Alyanna, I want to thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for all of the things that you do for our industry. You are such an amazing soul. You're like such a giver, and I really appreciate it. I kind of identify with it. Just a little bit, just a little bit. But you do so many amazing things for our community, and I really do have a tremendous amount of respect and admiration for you. And I'm just very grateful for all that you do. I am all about raising up the industry and creating artists out of photographers. And I know that you are as well. And so it's something that we have a very deeply shared passion about. So just thank you for everything that you do. I'm really excited about the course. If there's anything that you want to add, I know I talk a lot. I'll give you, I'll give you, I'll give you the floor if you want to add anything.
I don't think there's anything that I can think of extra there. I do know that for the people who purchase the Nudescapes, it's going to be half off. So it's going to be $2.99 on June 24th. It's 24 hours, so they can buy it basically 10 a.m. June 24th all the way to the 25th at 10 a.m. and that's Central Time. It's half off. It's typically $600. It's going to be $2.99 for the soft launch only. And that includes a whole bunch of stuff that's all listed under the embed. It's not just videos. It's also, PDF courses and some other really cool goodies in there to make it like a whole, it's almost like a workshop, but it's not technically a workshop, I guess.
It's the evergreen, right? It's a go at your own pace
Yeah,
workshop.
absolutely. It's really cool too. But the other thing that I'm really excited about is for everybody who everybody who purchases the course during the soft launch, I'm going to, for every 100 people who buy it, I'm going to do a prize of $1,000. So if I have 400 people buy it, it'll be a $4,000 giveaway for 3 things. And I got more details on that in the events, but wow. Yeah, it's really cool. So I'm really excited to give back to in that way too.
Okay, so $600 for this course is like such a great price. I know, but $600
right?
for this course is such a phenomenal price. But to actually have it at the discounted rate for $2.99 for 24 hours. So on June 24th, y'all should probably be purchasing. If you're someone on this podcast and you do, all of the steps that we had mentioned, leave a comment on this, take a screenshot, leave a comment on the podcast, or if you're watching it on YouTube, leave a comment on YouTube, take a screenshot, send it to us on Instagram. We'll have that list of people, and at the end we'll announce our winner. But if for some reason you can't attend, you're definitely going to want to make sure that you purchase on the 24th. Like, if you are afraid of lighting, if you have any fears of being able to technically execute beautiful images with lighting because it just seems too overwhelming and too daunting, I'm not going to lie, I've throughout my career been one of those people. Everybody knows I like natural light. I like continuous lights. If I have to use strobes, I'm not happy. I really want to be in a place where using strobes is like fun for me. And so if you're like me and you're anxious and nervous and a little bit uncomfortable about that kind of stuff, this is definitely something that you want to do. Like, it's going to help alleviate our fears and take our skills up to the next level. So come on, come and join us. Come have fun with us Thursday night. Sign up for the class and let's get this shit. Like, let's be the absolute amazing artists that we were intended and we are capable of being by just having the right mentors, the right education, and believing in ourselves a little bit. I know, Alyanna, you believe in me and I believe in you, and we got enough belief for all of you out there too. So come on along for the ride and let's get this done. Let's show the world that as photographers, we actually are true artists. We're not just hobbyists, we are artists. And in order to be that, we really have to perfect our craft. So, Alyanna,
one thing real quick.
Yeah, babe.
Because you mentioned strobes scare you, and I know that's like a huge thing for most people. I just wanted to point out, because I didn't say it earlier, the course covers how to do these types of images with constant light, natural light, and strobes.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. I'm really going to be focusing because I'm so comfortable with like continuous light and natural light. The thing that I'm really going to focus on, the growth journey that I personally need to go on, is I can use strobes, but is it my like absolute strongest like comfort zone? No. So
Right.
is it the place where I need to stretch and grow the most?
Yep.
Probably. So for me personally, I'm really going to focus on that part. But it's awesome that we have the option. And for everyone out there listening, you have the option. If you want to create this with natural light, you can learn to do it with natural light. If you want to create these beautiful bodyscapes with continuous light, do it with continuous light. If
Yep.
you're like me and you're a little like strobes, and then Elena's going to walk us through that as well. She's going to give us options for all three, which is incredible. So let's get going on this journey. Darlene, thank you so much for sharing with us today. I
Yep.
yeah, I loved having you on. I know that we'll be talking again soon. I want to bring you back on because I want to talk about your experience taking the strip down class and being a student of mine, but we'll save that for another time. I'll be looking forward to getting you back on there today. I just really want to spotlight what an amazing artist I think you are, the incredible value that you bring to our industry, and how important I think this class actually is and what a great value it is. So we're
Thank
going to
you.
leave it at that. You're welcome. I hope that you have a beautiful day, and I will look forward to seeing you very soon.
Well, thank you. You too. And thanks again for having me. I can't wait to come back and talk about your course. I'm glad you're going to have me back in a little bit, though, because I've been so busy with this damn course that taking your, but I have to actually like put it to use or put it to in action on people. So I'm really excited because I've got so many things to test out. So yay. Oh,
Awesome.
excited.
Awesome. Awesome.
Oh, yeah,
Okay,
you have
darling.
to. Sorry. I
It's
was
okay.
and sorry.
It's okay. You have a wonderful day, and we'll see you again soon. We'll see you on Thursday.
All right. Well, thank you.
Okay. Bye, Alina. I want to thank you all so much for listening today. It was awesome having Elena with us and learning everything that we did with her. I want to remind you to come on back next week. We'll have more awesome content and episodes for you. If you're watching me on YouTube, I would greatly appreciate if you hit the subscribe button and hit the like button. You'll be notified every week when we put out new content, and it really does help me get this message out to more people. And if you're listening to me on the podcast, if you could leave me a comment and subscribe, I would be eternally grateful. I hope that everyone has an amazing week, and I'll look forward to seeing you next week on our next episode. Bye, everybody.